Welcome back to Lemony Makes. My name is Callie, and tonight I am going to take you along with me while I make dinner, and I'm going to be making a really delicious and simple carrot and cauliflower pasta that's garlicky and lemony, and it's so simple and delicious and healthy and fresh, and this is how I like to eat during the weekdays. It's, like I said, very healthy, but it's also very satisfying, and I know you're going to love this recipe, so let's get right into it. But before we begin, as always, please remember to subscribe, like, share, chat in the comment section, and follow me on social media for more recipes and additional content. So these are the ingredients that you are going to need. I have some carrots, of course, along with some cauliflower that I cut up into just small florets like so. I have lots of garlic. I have some parsley, lemon. I also have some pecorino or Parmesan cheese. I have some extra virgin olive oil. I have a little bit of red pepper flakes. This is optional, but I recommend it. I also have, I think I said salt and pepper. And I have some starchy cooking water. So this is the water that the pasta cooked in. You want to reserve about 2 cups or so. I can almost guarantee you're not going to use all of it, but you'd rather have more than less. And what this is going to provide is it's going to add starch to the pasta, which is going to help the sauce adhere to the pasta. It's going to kind of make this pasta even a little bit more saucy, if that makes sense. You just have to trust me, it's going to work. So let's get right into it. Here I have a pan that's heating up over medium heat. It was really hot when I touched it just now. And let's do this. So first things first, I'm gonna add some extra virgin olive oil, quite a bit. And like you see here, there's not really a sauce as far as, we're not using like a marinara sauce. So all of the ingredients really serve a purpose. So we wanna maximize all of the flavors of them. So to the olive oil, I'm gonna add in the extra virgin olive oil. You really want to be adding the garlic to cold oil and bring up the temperature of the 2 ingredients together. And this way, the flavor of the garlic really infuses into the oil, and like I said, kind of helps maximize the flavor of the garlic. So I kind of skip that step a little bit because my pan here takes a long time to heat up on this burner. But I'm gonna cook this for maybe a minute and a half or so, or however long it takes for the garlic to get nice and very lightly golden in color. Okay, so as you can see here, the garlic is starting to get sort of golden in color. So I'm gonna throw in the carrots and the cauliflower. So that is going in. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit this with a good pinch, a generous pinch of salt and pepper. You wanna always be seasoning all of the ingredients really well. So that is going in along with some black pepper, like so. Okay, now I'm just gonna give this a quick toss. And while I do so, I also wanna point out that, of course, this is pasta, so you're gonna need pasta. You could use any pasta of your choice. I always recommend you using some kind of pasta that has ridges on it, like a rigatoni or a penne pasta. That helps the sauce adhere to the pasta, especially for a recipe like this, which, like I said, doesn't have a whole lot going on. It's still very, very flavorful, but there isn't, like I said, a marinara sauce. So you want to cook your pasta to slightly shy of al dente. So cook it to the package's instructions. If the package says to cook the pasta for, let's say, 9 minutes to al dente, cook it for 8 minutes because it'll finish cooking in the sauce later, and we'll talk about that again once the time comes. But my pasta is just sitting in my sink over there, draining in the colander. Okay, so now I'm just gonna let this cook down for, I don't know, maybe like 10 to 12 minutes or however long it takes for these vegetables to cook all the way down and develop a little bit of color. I'll show you what that looks like. And you know what, at this point too, we could add in the red pepper flakes. So as far as the red pepper flakes go, if you really don't want it spicy, you can omit them, and that is totally fine. But I kind of like to think of it like this. A lot of red pepper flakes add spice. A little bit of red pepper flakes add flavor. So I do recommend just even adding a tiny, tiny bit, like even less than a 1/4 teaspoon. I just think it adds something to especially a recipe like this without many ingredients, but you don't have to, of course. So I'm gonna cook this up, and then once it's nice and cooked down, I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, we're back, and as you can see here, the vegetables have cooked down quite a bit. I've started to notice a little bit of color here and there develop, and you can easily pierce them with literally just the spoon. So that lets you know they're tender and ready to go. So at this point, we're pretty much done. All I'm gonna do is add in for now, just a splash of the pasta water. You really don't have to measure it, but I'm probably adding, if I had to guess, maybe like 3 or so tablespoons. So we're gonna add that in along with the pasta. I am using penne, as you can see here. And you remember earlier I mentioned the pasta having ridges being kind of beneficial in helping the sauce adhere to the pasta. You can see the ridges here. By ridges, I mean just like little lines on the noodles, and that's gonna help the sauce stick. So I'm actually gonna add a little bit more water. And the water, like I said, is gonna help the sauce adhere to the pasta. It's also going to kind of form a little bit of a sauce. So I have that here. And next, I'm gonna toss in the parsley, quite a bit of parsley. It is a flavor maker in this recipe. So that is going in along with a good squeeze of lemon, like so. You could add more than half a lemon. You could use an entire lemon. It is totally up to your taste, your preference. You could even add in a little bit of lemon zest. I do that quite often as well. And I'm gonna add in the cheese. I'm using pecorino today, but I use Parmesan. Either one will do. That is going in. And the cheese is gonna add flavor. It's also gonna kind of help the sauce sort of, it's gonna kind of form a sauce, really. It's going to kind of thicken everything up a little bit. And at this point, I'm gonna turn the heat up to high, and we're gonna cook this all together for about a minute. And in this time, the noodles that, remember, we cooked a minute shy of al dente are gonna finish cooking in the sauce. And they're really going to soak in all those flavors. It's gonna help them be more flavorful, and it's just gonna be so delicious. I can't wait to eat this. At a restaurant that I worked at in Chicago, there was a pasta on one of the menus at that restaurant, and it was so simple. It was basically, that's not, I didn't get the recipe when I left, but it was like carrots and cauliflower, sometimes bell pepper, and it was so garlicky and lemony, and I would eat it very often. It was just so simple, but so good. And if at any point while you're stirring the pasta, you feel like it looks a little bit dry, add in a little bit more of the pasta water, which I'm gonna do at this point. So I'm gonna let this cook a little bit more, and then I'm gonna taste it for seasoning. If you feel like it needs a little bit more salt, add a little bit more salt. But remember, the cheese is salty, the vegetables are salted, and your pasta water should be salted as well. You should be adding a very generous pinch of salt to your pasta water. I'm talking like maybe 2 teaspoons or so. So I'm just gonna let this cook together. It's almost done, and then I'm gonna give you a close-up of just how absolutely incredible this pasta really is. As always, for the full written recipe and instructions, head to my blog, moodymakesrecipes.com. I'll put the link for that in the description box below. Click on the link, the recipe will come right up, and make this carrot and cauliflower pasta. I promise you're gonna love it, and let me know what you think, because I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.